Hello there. I can't believe it either. Did you think you'd ever this? Guess who's back? Back again. Can we just accept now that we all acknowledge and realise the error of our ways that Eminem was shit? I feel like in the late 90s, people were like, oh, this is good. It's not good. Stands like an awful novelty little play, like A Boy Named Sue or something. Oh, there's somebody in my boot. Oh, turns out it was... Fuck off, mate. Anyway, Intellectual Abattoir 2.0, new and improved. Shorter intros. Less interrupting. More listening, Justin. This is the theme of 2.0, Season 2. Can we make conspiracy theories again, please? A lot better when the New World Order and the Civil War was something Alex Jones was talking about, instead of looking out your window and actually seeing it. So we've got to repeat the return, the one, the only, Dr. Tony Moresi, from formerly of Galactic Zoo podcast. Does a lot of stuff on X. I'll put some links below. So much to talk about. Small boats. He talked about a lot of stuff I knew nothing about, but you know the MO of this podcast is to let him talk. He's talking about pendulums and spirituality and meditating away the clouds. You know, who knows? So, you know what to expect by now. I'm going to keep the intro short. Good conversation. We start off with a little bit of psychedelic chat, but that's very, very quick. Didn't mean to start with that. I hope that's not anything that... I feel like I've spoke about that enough on other podcasts, but it is a big experience and it's a big eye-opener. And when you've had your eyes open, don't you want to open other people's eyes? That's just human nature. Anyway, we're back. I've got another one that is in the can. I recorded one with a local guy called Tate Pollock. And that, I've got to edit that, but I'm going to get that out next week. So that was one done live in person in my dining room. So if you have a little nose around my house, like a through the keyhole type thing, or what's the other one people go on? Do you ever go on Rightmove or Zoopla and have a look at your neighbour's house? Oh my God, they've still got that terracotta. Who painted that? Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, or that other woman? What was her name? Linda Barker with an MDF. Remember all those days? Handy Andy, all that shit. Anyway, let's get into it. Here he is, as promised, all the way from the southwest. Look at him chilling back there. In his very, in front of a very, is it Alex Gray type painting there on that sheet?
That's my backdrop for when I do meditating to change the weather.
So... yeah, I was going to talk. Before I get into my experiences, I had an experience with the DMT. Did you know this?
No, tell me, man.
Well, I'll get into that straight away. Then I smoked DMT. Have you done DMT?
Yeah, I've got a vape of it.
Yeah, I had a DMT vape, and I feel that it's for those who don't know, it's what your brain releases at the point of death. They reckon, is that correct, Tony? It's a natural occurring compound.
I think it releases it at other times as well.
But that light at the end of the tunnel thing is they reckon a DMT experience, don't they?
Yeah.
I thought I was dying. It wasn't nice. I thought, if I don't get out of here now, and I had to... But that's my character. I panicked. I couldn't give in. And I had to jump out. I felt like... Have you ever had one of those dreams where you're being contained and trapped, and if you don't get out... A bit like when Indiana Jones reaches under and grabs his hat. I just got out, I felt like.
Yeah, that's sleep paralysis.
Yeah, well, the DMT was similar to that. Although, and tell me if you think this is a good... this is the best way I can describe it, because it's almost impossible to put into words, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, a lot of people have had a lot of very... I haven't had any kind of deep metaphysical experiences with DMT. I've done it 3 times. I'll tell you very briefly what happened with... I did it, and my wife did it with me. And she just had, as usual, very good, calm kind of... She doesn't panic. She's not like me. I'm a
panicker.
Panic, anxiety-ridden.
Catastrophize.
Years of trauma suppressed in all the loins and lower back.
Generational trauma.
Years. I'll tell you loads about that. I've got loads of things to tell you about that in a minute. But suppressing it with loads of booze like you're doing right now. That's how we do it. We push it down and keep it locked
Stiff
in
upper
its
lip.
cage. and then you smoke a bit of DMT and it tries to come out. And what happened to me is it because I've got this kind of blockage at the top of my chest at the minute, where I can feel it like a shudder when I take a deep breath. If I'm doing breathing exercises, it
Mm.
goes like when you're trying to stop yourself from crying as a kid.
Mm.
You know, and
Mm.
you go, and your dad's saying, "Shut up, as I'll give you a kick." And you go, I've got that trapped up here at the minute.
Is
That's
that
been
is
up there
that is
for a
that a
few
sort of
months.
adrenaline sort of feeling for you when you get that, like a
Um,
fight or flighty kind of thing?
maybe it could be interpreted like that. But when I did that DMT, it kind of it turned into like a kind of centralized puck, you know, like an ice hockey puck.
Mm.
It felt like an ice hockey puck, and it was electric, and it was going. It
Mm.
was really very weird, but it didn't release. So clearly, it's not ready to release.
That's the
Um,
thing. It depends on what you're. I think anything like that, all substances, is what are you adding them to, isn't it?
yeah, I think things can only release when you're ready to do it. I think essentially, I think if you try to do anything like it's like trying to do the hurdles when you haven't even managed to do 100 meters yet.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall over and scrape your chin and bust your nose open.
Here's
So I
the way
think
I.
that
Sorry. Here's the way I describe it. Then, Tony. You go through life and you're just like driving a car, right? And you're looking at the cars ahead, the street lights, you're looking at the road markings, you're just looking outside. Then you might get to experiment with a bit of weed or something when you're a teenager. And then have a bit too much weed and you chuck a bit of a whitey, and all of a sudden you notice the markings on the windscreen. And you go, oh, I'd never focused on this. I now can see that I'm looking for a windscreen. Then you might do a bit of like an acid trip or whatever, mushrooms, and then you might be aware of a smudge on your sunglasses. You go, I can see a smudge on my sunglasses, and I can see a marking on the windscreen, and I can see the cars ahead. Then I smoked DMT, and it's like I was sat behind the alien inside my head looking out of my eyeballs, and he was controlling me. It's like such a zoom out of the matrix or the layers of what's going on. It was just no words for it. But this happened in a nanosecond, and I panicked and got out. But I could feel it was like taking a VR headset off, looking around the room, then wanting to put it back on again because I wasn't ready to come out. That's what it felt like.
I've not had that experience. I've had other strange experiences, but not on DMT. But I think what you may well have experienced is kind of like that was your awareness looking at your kind of looking through you, because we know we're not actually Justin and Tony. We're just awareness witnessing it. That's the kind of end game spiritually. So if you got a glimpse of that,
Yeah, it
and
didn't go
obviously
away immediately either.
the fear kicked in.
Yeah, fear of dying. I think my body somehow recognised, or I knew it in my subconscious because I'd researched it. It felt like I was crossing over into the shadow realm to never come back. I felt it, but I don't know if I imagined that.
I think the fear is what keeps us back and stops us from progressing in multiple ways, whether it's just generally in life, like stuff that we might not be able to accomplish in life, or whether it's just, ultimately getting to as high a spiritual level as we can attain in this lifetime. Fear is the main blockage to that. And that kind of encompasses anxiety, depression, shame, jealousy, regret, all of that shit.
Ridicule.
Yeah, all of it, man. It's just that, there are details, but really it's fear ultimately. There's a deep-seated fear, and it's a program that you have to break. It's not an easy program to break, man. And I tell you, when I had 30 sessions of online therapy about a year and a half ago, and I felt she'd got to a point, she was talking to me, this therapist, and she did kind of start to uncover something, and I felt it well up inside me and come up in my body, and I knew instantly there was no way I could handle that coming out in one go.
Yeah.
And it was like it was showing me. It was like it was showing me, this is how much shit you've got to get rid of. If I open the door now, what does that mean? Probably heart attack or stroke or nervous breakdown or
I've been there.
just deep psychosis. So when you try and release that shit too quickly, that's what happens. You have a massive failure of the system, like an overload in the computer. Or
Yeah.
if you like,
Do you feel then that I was experiencing that would have been the death of the Justin Panks as I know it? Like, if, like you said, you can't put this stuff back in the closet. You can't unsee it. And maybe is that like maybe there's a sort of like a super level of consciousness above that knows what your problems are, and it is choosing to repress them. Like I'm down here just below that level of consciousness, thinking I don't know what's wrong with me, but really I do, or something does.
yeah, of course it is. That's your higher self.
Yeah.
Your higher self is your connection to, to God, to Source. That's what that is. Your high self, and your high self is there for you always. There's no break in that connection. The main issue with human beings is that many people don't believe in any of that anymore. They've been have had that programmed out of them and beaten out of them. And the other thing is you have to nurture that connection back again. It's like it's like a telephone connection where the cable's been broke, the phone's been chucked in the bin. There's no electricity, and it's there, but you've just got to fix all those bits and get it back working again. And I've got a very good experience of this now because I do a lot of stuff with my pendulum. So I thought I've got it right here to show you the big pendulum that I use. Have a look at this pendulum here.
Mm-hmm. What is that, crystal or?
It doesn't. It could be a nut and bolt on the end of a
okay.
string. It doesn't have to be anything.
Okay.
This is just incidental, but this is just so happens that someone who does spiritual work gave me this, and I use it, and it's very good. But that's you use to connect. You use as a kind of a gauge of connection with your higher self. So if you're asking it questions, it will turn one way for a yes and one way for a no, and then you start to see it doing smaller circles and odd movements because it's trying to get you to ask a different type of question. I'll give you just very quickly, right? I'll tell you. I mean, I'm quite in tune with it at the moment because I did a day of workshop with one of the UK's kind of like top dowsing ladies who's saved my life on many occasions by removing lots of dark entities. She was doing her final sessions of workshops, and I managed to get in on it. It's only like 4 people there. And just to brush up on these skills and to learn the finite ways of doing it. So I've been doing a lot of dowsing in the last few days, and the kids have been playing with I bought them little pendulums and things. But we went to a beach yesterday, and there must have been a good couple of 1,000 people on this beach. And I had to drop my kids off and then go and park further down the road because the car park was full. So I came back and I didn't know where they'd gone, and it must have been 1.5 miles from one cove to the other. And you can't find anyone on the beach. Everyone just looks the same. It's like, literally there's just groups of families everywhere. And I was like, so I got the pendulum out and it was just leading me. And it led me to my kids on like down there, left, right, right. And I found my kids. And then we had to find another father and his son who were diving because we was going to meet up with them. And I'm not joking. It took me round the corner, down a bit, left, right. Took me right to the sea, and it was saying it's dead ahead. And there was maybe about 30 people in the sea there, and he was in his wetsuit with his hood up like that, and I couldn't tell who he was. So my daughter just shouted his name out, and he just turned around, and it had taken me literally to him, not like vaguely. So and then it took me to the dad because I had to find the dad. Because there's no signal on the beach. You're down, this is in the sticks in Devon. You're down and it's below the cliff. So, you're not getting any signals. You can't phone each other. And it took me to the dad and it pointed out where he was. He was next to a boat and I could see his flippers as he was like snorkeling, looking for fish to spear. And that just showed me that my connection is very good at the minute. Do you know what I mean? It affirmed to me.
It's honed at the minute.
Yeah, it's bang on the money in a minute.
Like your gym fit. Yeah, because there's the thing. A lot of people would go, "Oh, that's bullshit." But Tony, I always say things like this: no one knows how homing pigeons do it. A magnet and a compass. A compass is magic. It is a magic thing that points. Like we understand it as magnetic north, a compass. But if you just zoom back and just go, okay, well, if I just forget all those words and you can do it in the science class, what actually is it? It's a magical, invisible force. What makes you think it's the only one? Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you call anyone round to your land or to look for water. So you're a farmer.
Mm.
They come in with dowsing rods.
Mm.
They're not. There are some electronic devices, but they're not in the same league. So
My
if
fa-
you call any borehole company in
mm.
England,
Mm.
I don't know about the continent, but in England, they'll come around. It's like two
Yeah, I've
bits of
seen them.
metal.
Yeah.
These ones are like stuck in the middle like that, and they do
Right.
this. I had a guy around there doing it a few months ago, and I said, what's your accuracy rate? He said 98, 99%. And it just flipping about like that. There's no scientific explanation for that, but it's
But
provable.
my father-in-law used to have a pub in Cornwall, and he told me once that he did it with a pool cue. He had to work out where to dig and where not to dig in this out the back or something, and he wanted to know where the water pipe was. And he said you can even do it with just dangling a pool cue from the tip, like a pendulum. And he said, and when he went round, it sort of moved weird. And he said, it's dig there and found a drain or something. That's what he told me.
I thought he was going to say that's where he made his first snooker table.
Fred West is my father-in-law.
We're gonna put the green baize
there, Rose.
We're gonna put the first pocket there.
Yeah, but anyway, so I did.
Yeah. Just to pick up on that point, it's nothing to do with the instrument.
No, that's exactly right.
It's just you.
Yeah,
and your connection.
He told me that story, and I didn't. I believe 15 years ago, I would have been like, fucking hell, but I've just changed. And it's just because of how mad everything's gotten. But anyway, so I didn't think I was going to start with that, talking about the substance experience. But I wanted to get you on because I had to come back for a second season, if you like, because things are just so mental at the moment. And the last time or the time before I had you on, and you were speaking about a spiritual hole that is in the West, certainly. And I've been looking at everything what's going on with everything's so polarized and crazy. And I feel that we are having our spiritual hole plugged for us with division and tribalism. And I just got everything going on with the hotels. There's a lot going on here in Norwich. I drove past the protests on Sunday to go drop my son off, and it was mad down there. It's really mad here in Norwich. And Norwich is a very left-wing sort of bastion in East Anglia, really. But I suppose first thing I want to, before we get into it, is because I think you're the sort of guy, and I've heard you talking about stuff like this coming for a long time. So in one word, Tony, is it engineered or organic, what's going on at the moment?
What, politically?
This whole migrant crisis, the factions in the street.
Engineered.
It's got to be, right?
It's absolutely engineered. There's no other even possible way of looking at it, even logically, just with no kind of woo-woo attached to it, no conspiracy. If you just look at people coming over on boats, for like hundreds of years, the British managed to stop armadas and all sorts of people coming over. No one was ever able to come over on a boat before without getting stopped and held and blah, blah, blah. They've got all the resources in the world to stop that. It's managed, it's orchestrated, and it's planned. And I first time I said that was on Facebook about 13, 14 years ago when I had that massive row with, I can't remember his name, the Pakistani heritage comic who done quite well on telly, the little geezer. So that was the first time that I was saying that there's an orchestrated attempt to disrupt the Western civilization, but they do it in such a sneaky and clever way that it makes it very, very difficult to even discuss the subject, because as soon as you discuss it, you're like in the realms of having to fall into the realms of being a lefty or a righty. This is how they construct it. This is how they construct the narrative. If you talk about Israel, you're either a Zionist, pro-Israel, or you're an anti-Semite. Actually, all of that needs to be just ignored, and all of that needs to be pushed aside, and you just need to think for yourself. Because this is what a point I've been trying. I've made a couple of videos on this in the last couple of years on X, and I've been trying to reiterate this, and people can't get it. A lot of people just can't see this, that it's possible to not agree with what Israel is doing in Palestine and to also not want the Islamification of the West. Those two things are possible to exist in someone's mind at the same time.
I,
As much as they are taught to us to be polarized
I know.
perspectives, they're not. It's because they want you to be in this camp or they want you to be in that camp.
Well, look, that's how
And
it's
if you don't-
reported. I mean, if you went down there, I wouldn't go down there. If I went down there, there would be unsavoury elements on both sides. Like they're standing either side of a road, so I'm going to use that left and right, whatever. So you got you got the people protesting the hotel when you got the people protesting the protest. Now there will be an unsavoury element in both sides. There will be some people that are complete fascists protesting the hotel, and there will be complete anarchic Antifa sort of like communists want to bring down the West on the left wing side. Now there's also going to be people that are just down there but there's a middle ground. And it's just the thing is, when you said then, I didn't know that you said that you brought this up and had an argument with someone. Look, I want to think about and be aware of the hand pushing the chess pieces. And those small boats are the pawns. So to talk about that happening and being a problem, it's not that I dislike the pawns. It's like you're being used. And I think it's I think it's a globalist agenda. I think, look what happens from the 90s when all the manufacturing went abroad where it was cheap, the call centres. Then you've got all the jobs here, like train drivers and that. We're uppity. The West are uppity. We go on strike. We want a quality of life. We want to own a house. We want a holiday. We want benefits. I think that the globalists, who don't give a shit about anyone except their profits, we need to import people that are prepared to work for less, 0-hour contracts. I just think it's a race to the bottom. And my worry is that in 50 years, if you come from an underdeveloped country, there will be no West to go to. It'll all be shit. I just think it's a race. They just want us all to be like little ants and work for the global, the multinational corporations.
There's a cabal, and I've used this term for years and years and years. There's a cabal that is a secretive kind of cabal. You can call it New World Order, Illuminati, whatever tag, like globalists. You could give it whatever tag you fancy. They operate above the level of government, and even Dominic Cummings and Liz Truss have said this publicly. When they were going into meetings in number 10, the script's already written for them there. The outcome of the meeting's already planned on the paper. Keir Starmer, etc., are not making any decisions about the boats.
No.
Neither was Boris Johnson. They're all under manners. They're all under the control of a more powerful layer, what Trump calls a deep state. Whether that's a double bluff and he's in it anyway, that's a different discussion. But that term deep state is a reality. They're that organizational
they're a constant, aren't they? They're not voted in or out. They're always there.
No, they're always there. They're the ones kind of, you can say, that kind of did away with Kennedy because he was the last kind of real kind of president of the United States. Maybe Reagan a little bit. They tried to kill Reagan as well. So they've been around at least since then at that level of power, but in some way, shape or form for like hundreds, if not thousands of years. So now we get to see them. Now we are becoming aware of their existence in reality, and people are starting to see, even with the boats now, that people are starting to realise that the boats are orchestrated. The boats, of course they are. They ship the dinghies back to France. If they didn't want these people coming over on these boats, they would slice those dinghies and throw them into recycling.
And it's theatre, isn't it?
Wouldn't
because
they?
Of course, but it's theatre, Tony. They can film them arriving on the boat, arriving on the beach. It's like if they flew them over here like they wanted to, then we'd look, who's doing this? But it's like, no one's doing it.
It's another thing that they're doing that as well, Justin. They are flying people in.
I know they are, but the boats is the theatre side of it. That you couldn't get.
Yeah,
that's
it's like a kind of that in the perception of people it becomes an invasion. It becomes it's standing on the toes of the nationals. It hurts you. It triggers you to see people just swarming, invading the beaches. It's like it's akin to kind of like Dunkirk.
Of course, it is
stopping the Germans coming in. Now we've done all that work, and now you're just letting them all come in. It's like that's the kind of the program that's entering into the psyche to an extent. But here's The real kicker with that and all of Israel and everything that's going on and all these wars since 9/11. So you could take the point of
Yeah,
9/11,
definitely.
which is an inside job, all right?
Gotta be.
Anyone who's looked at that with any kind of um, basic normal intelligence and has realized that there's an organization called Architects and Engineers
Mm-hmm.
for 9/11, and which encompasses about 2,000 or 3,000 professionals, which all say that that is an impossible thing to have happened um, within scientific and logical terms,
Mm,
that those buildings could have collapsed in that manner. We like using architecture and engineering and
mm.
structural engineering and all the physics behind all of that. Them buildings could never have collapsed
The one that
like they
people
did.
don't talk about enough is the Pentagon. That one is insane.
Yeah,
That
that's just a
plane,
missile.
that plane came down. It did like a this crazy sort of like Red Bull acrobatic death roll down, went through, and it was all like lampposts it avoided, and went in at floor level and didn't leave any seats or debris.
Because it was a missile.
I urge people watching this, don't ever mind Tower Set. Look at the Pentagon one. Just look at 5 YouTube videos and think, oh, YouTube, it's footage. And you look at the Pentagon one. That one's clearly, they don't talk about that one enough, in my opinion. That's clearly bullshit.
No, they don't. There's no wreckage. There's a couple of bits of wing.
No
that they just chucked
CCTV
about.
at the Pentagon, Tony. I think they'd have a camera here and there, wouldn't they?
But also, there was an investigation into missing money happening in exactly that part of the building.
I know.
The evidence is so ridiculously overwhelming. So I'm not going to go into that. We're not here to discuss.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
But let's just. I want to.
But you're right. 9/11 was when they took the gloves off in this movement.
Well,
wasn't it?
It's the beginning of this whole program to kind of for Greater Israel, you could say. So just listen to this, all right? So you've got 9/11, so that gives them the pretext to go and have all these wars. So Iraq, Syria, etc., and all those 7 wars, and that's well documented that they listed those wars and they were going to enact them. So that 9/11 gives them the reason to go in and attack these Muslim countries and do all of what they wanted to do, because the 9/11 is the false flag that gives the people the reason to be on the side of the government. So otherwise, people are up in arms. Even though actually 2 million people marched in Britain against the war in Iraq, they still went ahead and did it. So the first thing is 9/11. Then they have all their wars, which are still ongoing, but mostly have happened. And then they import the same power, imports all those Muslims,
disgruntled people.
Yeah, like angry now.
Yeah.
It's like getting loads of wasps' nests and putting them in under your pillow. Right, and then thinking, well, why did you get that? I don't know why you got stung. So they bring all these Muslims in, and not all Muslims are bad, but they're infuriated. They're allowing anyone to come in, as we know, unchecked. So they bring all of it, especially into Northern Europe, is like Sweden and blah blah blah, where the rape goes from the safest in the world to one of the worst in the world. And that was what the point was I made on Facebook, which caused me so much grief. So then they do that, and then they allow Islam to do as it pleases. So they allow like the grooming gangs, they allow Sharia law, they have the 2-tier justice system, and all of this is winding everybody up.
But it's engineered, like you said.
So listen to this. So in the subconscious mind and in the conscious mind as well, people are thinking these Muslims are driving me mad. I hate these Muslims, blah blah blah, because they see what they're doing. But if the law wasn't allowing it, none of it would be happening. So then, when Israel goes and flattens Gaza, people they don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is part of how that
they've been
then
dehumanized, haven't they?
Yes. So if they were flattening Gaza and it was 1980, before all of the stuff we just talked about had happened, there would be millions more people up in arms against Israel, even like pro-Israel people. Because it's what they've done there is like unbelievable. Whatever your perspective is,
human to human, it's terrible.
Yeah, and I mean the amount of aid workers, journalists, UN people, all sorts of people have been killed as well. So they made it much easier for people to hate by doing all of the above. And that's not the only reason they've done all of what they've done, but that's made it very easy now for people just to say, fuck Palestine. I don't give a shit if every one of them dies. I don't give a shit if they all burn in a hotel. I don't give a shit blah blah blah, because they've created the landscape in which all of this exists. It's not. That's why it's not organic in any way. My
No.
phone's falling down.
And
It's
it's
not
like
organic.
it's like the golden child syndrome, isn't it, Tony? If you had a brother and your dad was a complete arsehole to you and just worshipped your brother, you end up resenting your brother. But it's not his fault. That's what I was saying about the hand moving the pawns. Like, you go, you might think, like, you're right, there will be people that think, yeah, I don't care about Palestinians because of what's happening here. Right?
But that's what
what they've engineered, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's why I said to you at the beginning, it's possible to not like the Islamification of Europe and to not agree with what Israel is doing in Palestine. Those two things you can be, but they're not normal to have as two lines of thought in one mind. You're either flying a Palestinian flag, or you're flying an Israeli flag, because that's how evil works, man. Evil wants division, and evil wants a battle, but like a yin and yang. It wants you on this side or that side. It doesn't want you in the middle thinking about shit.
That's why I think, Tony, even I think like sports is this long game psyop that you're Arsenal or Spurs. You can't admit you've got to hate the. It's just it's been programmed into us since birth, especially as men. I think
it's conference. It's Greg Braden, who's really worth following on YouTube, the scientist Greg Braden, he talks about this very, very succinctly about how the theory of evolution and Charles Darwin is incorrect. And loads of scientists have found this out in the last kind of 50 years or so. That it's actually the way the world works and the way the universe works is cooperation. It's a model of cooperation.
Of course
it's not a model of confrontation.
Equal and
nature
opposite.
It's symbiotic. Nature is working with each other, like insects and animals and trees and plants and environment and atmosphere. Everything's working together for creation. It's not like a continuous fight. But when you have the model of a continuous fight and a continuous battle, we adopt that model. So it's like survival of the fittest. It's like, I'll do that fucker over. I'll nick that 60 grand off of him in that deal, and I'll be able to buy a nicer Range Rover. Fuck him, I don't give a shit. He can't take me to court. And you have all of that. Oh, not everyone's behaving like that, but there's a lot of that in the world. You know, like cheating, manipulation.
Pick a side, isn't it? It's pick a side.
Yeah,
it's God and the devil, isn't it? It goes back as far as that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, it's how far you want to take that kind of notion that ultimately, spiritually, it's all kind of relevant, because without this darkness and without this unwinding of all this darkness, we won't have the experience. There'll be no experience, therefore no point of kind of living if we just all floated around in a utopia. And we was all on panel shows whenever we wanted to be. And we all had Range Rovers, and we all had like the best looking wife and the best looking husband.
You need struggle, don't you? You need struggle.
Yeah, you need struggle. So that's like kind of that. Ultimately, it's all kind of a big theatrical show anyway. But coming down a level or two, just seeing how it operates, because most people are in that kind of not NPC, because that's a car park, but NCP, isn't it?
It's NPC. It's an NCP. NPC is non-playable character.
That's it. But it's so close to NCP car park,
which are a fucking rip-off.
There's a good joke in there somewhere, and I was laughing at it driving around the other day, because you know some people really are non-player characters.
Yeah,
they're just
for
like,
sure.
Literally, they look at you when they're driving. Sometimes people stare at you when they're pulling over on the lane, and their face is like you're looking into a void. It's literally like you're looking into a soulless void in some people.
Do you think that's just a different frequency, or do you think that they are? Can they be that vacuous, or is it just that we're not picking each other up? Is it something being missed?
There's various options to pick from. I'm not learned enough. I don't know the answer to that. It could be, some people are just, their vibrational level is so low and they're so locked into the system that basically you're just part of the system. There's no part of you that's in nature. There's no part of you that's out of the groupthink. So you're just literally kind of zombified.
They're like extras in films.
I don't think it's like, the idea like there's loads of people that have got no souls, or loads of people that are hybrids. Bit too probably fantastical to be true.
If this is an element simulation,
there might be elements of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely hybrids knocking about, but the average person who's just walking around, like
We
just
get a lot of them in
staring
Norwich,
and
mate.
just like that, like on the and they just look at you like,
Yeah.
fucking hell,
It's
man,
like you
wake
think,
up.
where do you go when you're not here? It's almost like if you ever watch a film, like you're watching Fight Club and Brad Pitt's talking to Ed Norton, and if you actually really look at the extras behind them, they just look different. Like they look like they're not supposed to be there. They look self-conscious. And when you look around, you're like, oh, you're sort of like an extra. When you play, if you're playing FIFA, and then if you don't look at the crowd, it looks like the crowd. But if you actually look at the crowd, you can see that they're duplicated and they're not animated and put together as well as the players. And it's like, you're not fully formed. And
A bit like that.
Do you know, it is mad like that. If we actually look,
I tell you where else you see it. You see it in vaccinated people and vaccinated children. You see kids when they've had the vaccine, and not to get too personal about this with people, but there's people I've seen their children, and their children have got the 1,000-yard stare.
spark's gone.
Yeah, and there's other kids. You look at them and you can see the universe through their eyes. So there's two things happening, and this is where that beautiful quote from Rudolf Steiner comes in, that circulated during COVID and this is 100 years ago. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but he wrote that they will bring out a vaccine that will separate the soul from the body. It will make contact with the soul impossible. And he was saying that 100 years ago. And that's the mRNA vaccine he's talking about. That's exactly what he was talking about. And then when you put it all together, I actually made a very, which I would think a good post about this on a video about this on X, where it's a bit like King Herod in the Bible when he kills all the firstborn, because he knows that amongst them is the Christ, is the child that will carry the Christ energy, and he can't have that shit. It's going to fuck up their run-ins. So it's just to try and capture that person and kill it. He kills all the firstborn. Obviously, he doesn't succeed. But that's what I think their plan is with the vaccine. This is what childhood vaccines are all about. It's to smoke an entire generation of humans so that they're not connected to God. And that's what they're achieving to a great extent. But some of it is weird as well. It's backfired, I think, because a lot of autistic kids are communicating telepathically. I don't know if you've ever heard of the telepathy tapes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you listen to them, they're absolutely astonishing. Like kids are just talking to each other.
So when you were saying earlier about the harmony of the universe and the way it all works, do you think then that that's a part of, like, if they try and suppress things with, say, a vaccine, then the human body will develop something which looks like a defect but is actually a way of circumventing it, the hierarching universe power? Like, that's all how it works, It's like,
I think it seems to be like that.
It does sound like
Doesn't
that.
it?
What you just said sounded like that to me.
Yeah, it does like that. It does, because you can write autistic kids off in one respect, but in another respect, they're proving that telepathy is real. Now, whether people want to believe that or not, the documentary evidence is in those dozens of episodes of the telepathy tapes. And and I've experienced telepathy, and a friend of mine is telepathic, and he's not interested in any of this shit. But he'll be I don't know if I've said any. Stop me if I've told you any of this before. But he'll be reading a book, and his wife will be asleep, and he'll be just like reading a line, and she'll say it out loud in her sleep. So he's transmitting shit into her head in her sleep. And there's people.
Something's happened since about 9/11 politically. You're right. Something's happened. I think, when did they turn that fucking Large Hadron Collider on? Was that 2012? Something is.
I remember the date.
Tony, something's different since then. I am having you know the algorithm. So I'll talk to you, and I'll say, my father-in-law did dowsing, whatever you call it, with a pool cue, and then I'll open my Facebook tomorrow, and there'll be an advert for pool cues or the pool place down the road. So we know that is happening with things I'm thinking in the real world. Like, the algorithm is. I swear to God, right? I was walking downtown into the city the other day, and I was writing me and Ash do these silly lists on our other podcast, right? And I thought, about tandems, people riding tandems. And I thought, I've got my phone out, listen to this. I thought, I'm going to make a note about people on tandems, how annoying they are. And I thought, yeah, but I ain't seen one for years. No one's going to get the tandem thing, I swear to God, I heard a ding ding bell. I looked up, 2 cunts on a tandem rang their bell because I was in their way. And I don't know if that's telepathy or if I'm slightly... do you know what I mean? It's so bizarre how often things like that are happening at the moment. I mean, is time maybe doesn't work the way we think it does?
That means one way of looking at those synchronicities is that you're getting closer to your reality.
I definitely feel like something's happened.
You're getting now you're awakening out of the dream. That shit now is happening is like an exponential rate, more and more accelerated, and you're gonna notice it more. The thing is, them things might have happened in the past,
right?
But you wasn't in a position to notice them. So
Coincidence.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would have said immediately.
Probably thought
even if it's like 10 billion to 1. So we just came back from Belgium, and we was in Antwerp, and we bumped into, like, we was walking through Antwerp, me and my family, and we bumped into an old friend, and she was just so overwhelmed of emotion, she just started crying that this coincidence had happened. And we was just laughing, and I was just going, "What's wrong? Why are you so?" And she's going, "I can't believe it's happened. I can't believe it."
Yeah.
And anyway, after she left, we spoke, and then she left. I said to my wife, "Oh, that's a great synchronicity." I said, "I don't know," but I said I wasn't thinking of her beforehand. She went, "Oh no, I did." She said, as we drove into Antwerp, she said, "I wonder if we're going to meet Pascal." You know, it's like driving. It's like going to Germany, and you know a geezer called Hans.
Yeah,
she doesn't even live in Antwerp. It's like, I wonder if I'm going to meet Hans. There's like 70 million people in Joe, whatever it is. And you're listen. You're in any city, and you think, I wonder if I'm going to meet Hans. And you have. I
think you're more likely to.
Well, it's just
once you think it.
You've manifested it into reality.
So that's what I was going to ask you. It's 2 things, isn't it? Could it be that you manifest it in some way, or could it be that time is preordained and you're just a little bit ahead of the script? Do you know what I mean?
Both.
Is it a premonition? Because you've got manifestation or a premonition, I guess is the 2 words, isn't it?
Well, the reality is, I think, is that there's no such thing as linear time.
No, I agree with that.
So it's all kind of happening like on a CD disc, CD-ROM at the same time. So it's just making those connections in the synapses of the kind of quantum.
Where's it looking?
brain.
Wherever it looks, the information is. Like I say, I always say it's like reading a book. If you're on page 100, page 1 still exists.
Yeah,
someone else is reading the page 1 on. Do you know what I mean? On their book.
And whatever we're creating the reality. So when we're looking for something, we find what we're looking for. So as this is what Greg Braden says about small particles in the Hadron Collider, and I can't remember the boson. Is it the boson?
Higgs boson, the God particle.
Yeah, Higgs boson. So he goes, they'll never find the smallest particle because every time they look for one, because the action of looking for one makes another one, brings another one into creation. So it's by the action of looking for it that you're finding to ever more and more smaller
it's got to be
particles.
made of something, right? I remember when string theory came out.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that, Justin. It's like the fact that you can never, you will never get to the end of that search.
Is that like trying to find the horizon? And the closer you get to the right, it's always going. Like
yes. Because we're actively creating the smaller particle, the smaller part.
Yeah.
Every time they think they found it, there's something else that it consists of. Because we're creating it in that hot moment in kind of what we call time. Like as we walked through Antwerp and we bumped into her, that is kind of like those connections had been made in the quantum field.
Yeah.
Like my wife had put them out and it arranged it so that it then came to pass.
Well, that is the thing they say, don't they? Because is it the observation paradox that whether you look at atoms or not, they are here or there or this or that, dependent, and they know when you're looking.
Yeah, you talked about the double slot experiment last time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but the thing...
We don't need to talk about that again, so people need to know about that because, once you observe something, it changes.
But they also did a thing where they turned the machine off, but the atoms didn't know. So they actually think they've got a consciousness that they think they were being watched or monitored. But yeah, I just think, like, getting back
to... your ex-wife. It's like an ex-wife. Doesn't matter how much you tell her that you're not thinking about her. She always exists and always believes that you are thinking about her.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't the past? That's the thing, the past. So I don't know. Does the past exist only if it's being thought of? Then we're saying we're projecting the real world. Are we projecting? Could this be a past imagining it or a future imagining? Or do you think Do you think everything has to be dependent on the here and now? Because I sometimes think that, like, oh God, what was the example? I was talking to my wife the other day, and I thought, oh, that's actually like quite a good thing I said. Like, it made sense. I was talking about people with Alzheimer's. Like I said, just because they've forgotten something doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Oh, I had a specific example but I can't remember what it was. But I remember I was saying, well, that. Oh, I can't remember now. But I just sort of think, like you say, I don't know, man. Like, if everyone forgets something, did it never happen? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Where
do you stand on that?
I think it's probably truth. There's like slightly different realities happening simultaneously, and we slip in and out of them depending on where you are. For some people, it is Luke, I'm your father, or some people it's just I'm your father.
Yeah.
And all those realities are relevant. It's in the same way as you could look at it like this. Is the people that we started talking about politics. So for some people, the reality is that there's absolutely no issue with people on boats, and we should be heartfelt and welcoming and warm. And the crimes that are reported about them are not real and they don't exist, and it's all made up. That's one reality that they're living in, a shared reality with the people who are painting the roundabouts and thinking, I don't feel safe here anymore because there's like 200-300 blokes who I don't know who they are, who just got licensed to wander around, and I can't let my 14-year-old daughter walk home now because I'm worried that she might be abducted and raped. And that's all. So they're different realities that are happening at the same time. But the better example is the COVID and the vaccine reality. For many people, still now, the vaccine saved lives, and all of COVID was real. All of what they did was real.
Worked.
All of it, the government never lied, and they are fixed in that reality. And then there's another huge portion of the public that have got a different view on reality. So there's different realities operating in and around us now.
This is the big genius of their psyop, because for so long now they have been training us to not trust our own eyes, whether it be the trans thing, whether it be the chemtrails. Like I've started to get in a lot of arguments with people that I'm close to about the chemtrails, because I go, look at that, right? I go, look at that, and I'll take a photo of it, and it'll be 7 o'clock in the morning in Norwich. It's got a tiny airport here. It's not really on the route to anywhere. And I'll show you some photos, Tony. It's insane. They're all the same altitude, a full lattice, 90-degree effect over Norwich, right? And I'll go, look at that. And they'll go, yeah, what is it, though? I said, I don't know, but look at it. Like, I don't know. Let's just say I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know what they're spraying. But look at it. And they won't even concede it, what I can see. And people will go to me, what is it then? And I said, well, that's like if I said to you, Tony, how many keepy-uppies can Diego Maradona do? And if you can't tell me exactly how many he can do, I could turn around and say, well, he can't do keepy-ups, then can he? You don't know. He's like, I don't know what it is, but fucking look. Just look. Where are these planes going? So, they've told us we don't trust our own eyes. And we can't, well, you look at a woman and don't know if it's a man or not. What is a woman? We don't know what a woman is. It's insane, Tony. And these are all the talking points. You go to, but it's like, so then they get you, so you don't trust your own eyes, that you don't trust what happened with COVID. And then they've got these, they're doing it with the small boats and that, and they want to go, no, there's no problem. They're not committing offences, and they know they are. And they're bringing them over here, and they're not allowing them, they're not encouraging them to commit offences. But we've been so fucking, empirical evidence? We've just been the psyop that we can't even look at something and go, I don't know. I need to be told what that is. That's what they've done. That's what they've done to us.
People haven't had to for years. We haven't had to look at anything. We've just been going along, buying washing machines and televisions, watching sitcoms on the telly, going down the pub. We've just been living in a very narrow bandwidth of a created reality. We've not had the need to question anything. We've believed everything. And in fairness, like 80s and 90s, like late 70s, 80s, 90s, when I grew up, there wasn't really too much to worry about. There was strikes, miners' strikes and things like that, poll tax riots.
They seem more honest.
It was just normal. It was a normal kind of.
It was honestly reported on.
But now it's going like this.
It's just the globalists.
Well, it's not only that; it's a quickening happening. Like everything is accelerating. Obviously, partly because of the internet, it accelerates
Yeah.
exponentially. So, like
And
50,
AI.
30, 30, 40 years ago, to find something out, a bit of information, you'd have to go to the library, start referencing books. You'd have to then like order a book from America, then look for some, like through microfilm and look for articles. It's very long-winded, so people didn't care. You're not going to start looking at the history of the Titanic unless
Yeah.
you're really interested. You might read a book about it, but you're going to go, "Oh, that was shit, it sank." And that's the end of that. And then you go down the pub and have another game of pool. Now you switch on the internet. You could go onto like
Yeah.
Rumble. You put in Titanic
And it's the
conspiracy, and
Olympic.
you could be there for a week
Yeah.
watching. Like the Rothschilds did this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there were bankers on the boat, and the boat was its sister boat, and then you're lost in that.
That's what I was going to say to you. So the Mandela
So that's
effect.
why it's opening up. That's why reality is opening up
Yeah,
as well.
that's what I'm saying. So do you think the Mandela effect is becoming more pronounced because of the quickening, or is it, or also because we've now got, everyone's got a camera phone, everyone's got access to share information? Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you remember that Monopoly game from McDonald's? Like in the 90s, you'd have Mayfair and you needed Park Lane and you could win 10 grand. But obviously now, if you had Mayfair, you just go on some message board or post on social media, "I've got Mayfair, who's got Park Lane?" They split the money. So do you know what I mean? Like, they're sort of gigs up in a way, isn't it? It's like nothing.
Yeah.
So is it that we're sort of like so interconnected now, we're noticing the Mandela effect and sharing our experiences, or is it maybe a bit of both that is happening because of the quickening?
I think probably a bit of both. I think one makes the other one happen. One leads to the other one. It's a circle, isn't it? And I think, but the important thing I think is understanding that we're going to reach a point. I think quite soon where it's going to kind of like just go boom.
The singularity.
Kind of. I don't know if I would use the word singularity. I think it's hard to even know.
Critical mass, maybe?
Yeah, it's like a critical mass of kind of understanding, awakening, and people being asleep, all kind of colliding at once.
That
And I think this is
sounds
why
like the
I
second
think this is
coming.
why they have that 2030 date, and they keep repeating the 20. For a while they kept repeating it because I think something's happening. Whether that is something cosmic or just something within consciousness that they can see it's coming. So they're desperately trying to avert that and keep people under control and under manners, and maybe bring in their martial law, maybe like create the circumstances for the West to have like civil wars, etc., so they could bring in their military kind of leaderships and make things even more of a kind of lockdown. I don't know. Maybe even that's just all a kind of conspiratorial story, a narrative. But definitely, what we can say is that shit is getting madder by the day.
And it's like you say, exponentially so.
Yeah, it is definitely is. I mean, but then again, Justin, for someone, for many people who are just living their normal life as they always have done, who don't have a mobile phone that's connected to the internet, don't go online,
Yeah.
walk their dog, go to the beach, their reality is very different.
Their
They've got
algorithm's
no
different.
idea. They've got no idea about
Mm.
9/11. They've got maybe even no idea really about the boats. My wife doesn't engage with any of this shit.
Mm.
And it's much better because she wants to engage with the children, her work, things that she enjoys. She likes reading novels. That's where she hears things from me. So, and no, she's not an unaware person. She's super switched on, super kind of intelligent.
She's aware as she
highly-
feels she needs to be.
Yeah, and she knows about all the COVID and lies, and she was like on the ball at the very beginning, saying that they're lying, this is all made up. She had no fear about it whatsoever. So she didn't need me to tell her that. But what she doesn't do, and it's a kind of a highly evolved soul kind of position, is that she doesn't engage with it.
Mm.
You're aware of it, but you don't engage with it, and that's a difference. We can be aware of it, but we can either let it into our subconscious mind continuously, which is dangerous because it just fills you with more fear, more dread, more worry, more and anticipating the future in a negative way. Or you just like observe it and then you just throw it away. You just see it literally, and you see it and you put it in the bin, or you see it and you fold it up and put it in your pocket. Think, oh, I'll worry about that on the bus home later. And you start looking and going, fucking hell, look, there's an asteroid heading towards Earth and there's another mothership and blah blah.
Yeah, that that thing. But I was going to say that to you, actually, ask you rather, because you're like on this journey, been on this journey a long time. You've been whatever people think that the awake for a long time. You don't seem angry by it. You seem aware and you seem concerned. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me, do you feel anger when you look at this all happening, or is that not the emotion you feel?
Sometimes anger arises.
Can't
Not
it?
about things like geoengineering anymore, because that's been years I'm long in the tooth with all of that. And I'm not angry at people for being asleep, because I realise that everybody's waking at different points in time. Not everybody's at the same stage, and that's not in a condescending way.
Of course it isn't.
Or like I'm superior. It's just that we're all, someone's 6'2" and someone's 5'8". Someone's fat and someone's slim. It's the same thing. So we're all moving at a different pace. So I'm not angry at any of those things or any of those people. I'm not even really angry when I see kind of violence in it, but I get triggered as much as the next person if I see the police beating up someone at a protest, because that breaks my heart. Because when my heart gets hurt, I get triggered by that. Not as much as I would have done in the past, but am I walking around on a daily basis being angry? No, not at all, because I've moved through that phase.
That's what I got that
and
sense.
I say it to people. So what I've been trying to do, like when I make videos on X often, is to tell people to consume less social media, to go down less rabbit holes, to not worry too much about a lot of the shit, because 90% of it is diversion. And it's, as much as there's crap in the mainstream media, there's plenty of crap in the alternative media, Justin.
Of course there is.
There's plenty of made up shit in both of those realms. And it's important for us to stay kind of in the middle ground, to be aware. It's good to be aware that cars exist so you don't get run over. But you go out being in fear that you're going to get run over. It's just you have an awareness. You just need to have an awareness of it. You might want to buy 300 tins of beans, just in case, like they put it in the newspaper at the moment. Buy loads of tins of beans because there's going to be a shortage of food. Another kind of fear.
That's how you make a shortage of food, isn't it? By getting people to stockpile it.
They create reality.
Yeah,
they create reality.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
They create reality through our perception. So when they're coming out every night on the TV telling us to be fearful that everyone's going to die because COVID is here,
and also now civil war.
Yeah, so they were at that time. Then you see them in the footage, just after they're all taking off their masks and talking to each other.
Yes, bollocks.
And it's and that's been allowed to be seen as well, to almost to aggravate and trigger people even further. But the whole of it is a farcical. The whole of it is a farce. But it's not a farce for many people. So there's still people now, Justin, who are living in fear of COVID. I don't know if you're aware of this, but that hasn't ended for a lot of people.
I know,
Not millions and millions, but hundreds of thousands still going to put the mask on, still worry about it. They're still having tests. They're still having jabs. They're still having boosters, because their fear of death is immense. And those people programmed them so strongly by coming out every night and going, "Your people are dying. Be fearful." That we create that reality. If you've got a school of children and you tell them every morning that there's a meteor coming at the end of the year and it's going to kill everyone, if you keep showing them pictures of meteors and disasters and reiterating it and showing them what's going to happen and it's Armageddon, they're going to be their reality. They're going to take that home and spread it to their families. That they spread it to other people. And it goes on and on. You're actually then creating a reality within those minds of those people, whether there's a meteor or not. You can maybe even manifest it. But do you see what I'm saying? That they create that.
It's like the Ghostbusters, isn't it? Like when he goes, pick your doom, and he thinks it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's like some people think it's a COVID virus. Some people think it's someone on a boat. Some people think it's a meteor. Some people, do you know what I mean? So it is like we get to choose our own.
It's all distraction, most of it. So I think the key is this: the takeaway from all of these discussions, really and truly, is that there's a window of opportunity at the end of every cycle, I think, where the bandwidth opens, where people start to awaken, and you have an opportunity, you could say, to escape the matrix. it's like a wheel going around. Goes,
Yeah.
you know those ones you spin and goes, and one of them it just says escape the matrix, and it goes tick 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 tick. But then you've only got like a bit of time before they spin that wheel again, and another cycle of times happened again. It might be 5,000 years, 20,000, whatever it is, 26,000 years, like a Kali Yuga. But we're in that moment now. That's why everyone's waking up. That's why the internet exists. Everyone is waking up, or everyone, but people are popping up like pop, 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 pop.
I'm new to this. Something's happened in me. Something's happened in me. Definitely in the last 5 years.
You've got a chance now to awaken to your true reality, like I have, which is a divine reality, which is just being aware that you are just actually the awareness observing you as a character in the game. So really, we're all NPCs. I've just realised this. We're all actually non-player characters because none of this is real. We're just
we're
witnessing.
avatars, aren't we?
Yeah. So we're just witnessing that our characters in the game. I'm watching you now on a screen. In a reality that's not even really real itself. I mean, it's solid and it hurts when you smash your head against it. But in actuality, the only thing that's real is like when you go into a deep meditation and your mind stops, but you're awake. Your body goes to sleep. So this is samadhi. Your body goes to sleep, and your mind's not asleep, but your body's asleep, and there's no shit running through your mind like ABBA songs or what you must do the next day, your shopping lists, and how do I get my upload onto YouTube. None of it. It's all gone silent. That's your awareness right there. That's your source. That's your high self. Just watching your character, watching the game. And that's your actual reality. That's where we're trying to get to, Justin. It's not actually anything at the top of a mountain. There's no like reading 200-300 books. You don't have to fucking do anything. All you have to do in the end is realize that you're this divine being.
So,
and these drugs, like like DMT, and that they help you to get there to see. They don't make it happen, but they give.
Oh, you become aware of it. You become aware of it.
Like it's like a trailer for a movie, DMT or mushrooms. You ain't going to see the whole movie, but you'll see snippets.
Like I said, I felt a non-local presence, entity, consciousness that was not in me or of this realm, and it felt so real. But couldn't see its face, but I felt it, and it has just become so obvious and real to me. Because I was just thinking this when you were talking. You were thinking this isn't your voice. That your voice is going to a microphone. It's going to your computer, zeros and ones, down some fibre optic cable into my ears. So this isn't even us talking. Do you know what I mean? And then I was thinking, but if we're in the same room talking, it's just sound waves moving at them. So that's not us talking either, is it? So everything is like a simulation, isn't it? It's all a facsimile of us. Because the real you inside you, what you just talked about, and like you said, it's not on top of a mountain or over the rainbow, and it's all in us, and we all have it. And all this, what they've constructed, is to take us further away from that, rather to closer to it. Advertisers don't want to tell you, Tony, you don't need a new car. It's already what you're looking for is already in you. They want to say the opposite, didn't they?
Yeah, that's why I keep saying to you, it's all distraction.
It's even more than that, it's perverted.
But even the conspiracies, like especially things like Macron's wife's knob.
Yeah, I know.
It's the perfect example.
So it's just fucking quality.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I say to them online, so do you need to know whether she's got a cock or not?
You don't, but Candace Owens is entertaining. But you're right. But I do watch it for that. But I'm like,
if it's for light entertainment, it's fine.
Yeah. That's my EastEnders.
It's fine, because we need to laugh. We really do need to laugh. But when you spend 8,000 hours on QAnon.
Yes.
All right. This is where you've gone from middle ground into negative.
It's just as much of a distraction as, isn't it? That's taking you
as watching EastEnders.
That's taking you. That is taking up your time and taking you further away from finding that real you.
Yes,
as much as anything.
They're true. They're clearly their agenda is to stop you from thinking about important stuff like what we just discussed about the internal awareness. So they want you fighting about religion, fighting about Israel, fighting about men who pretend to be women, fighting. So they create all of these narratives to keep us embroiled all the time. They are creating it all. Remember that before the word even conspiracy theorist came along, people were just having their lives, enjoying their lives.
Mm.
They knew that a window was coming of opportunity of an awakening. So they have exponentially. I keep using that word. It's not because it's the only long word I know. All right. They've created so much story and so much drama, and humans love drama as well. That's why we like sitcoms, etc. They've created so much drama that we can't see the wood for the trees. Every time we're just about to have a divine realization, they start another war. They start a
Yeah.
pandemic, or they start a false flag, or they talk about a politician being gay, and they invent so much stuff. It's incredible,
But
man.
I've got to use your word, exponentially, because it used to be you'd have World War One, then you'd have World War Two, then you'd have Vietnam. Now it's something every 2 months. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's like Ukraine, then it's Israel a year later, then it's this, then it's that. And the one I saw today, Tony, and I don't watch the news, but I happened to catch it. And this is just, if you don't, let anyone listen to this, tell me this isn't a psyop. Psyop. Think of all the discussion, the furore about the Asian grooming gangs. Well, now Labour government are pushing through this thing about defining Islamophobia. And they're saying that under this new defined thing of Islamophobia, which is like that religion gets its own blasphemy laws, basically, they would, because everyone knows that the grooming gangs were not investigated and correctly dealt with for fears of being seen to be Islamophobic. So now the timing of the government to go, we're going to push through Islamophobia, it's to wind us up. It's so tone deaf, that can't be a mistake. That is a fucking terrible idea.
Keep you in anxiety.
Yep.
What does all this do? What do all these stories do? They keep you in anxiety,
angry,
keep you in a negative, and they keep you angry. And that's perfect for them because they're the most far away emotions that you can experience that will keep you from the emotion of love and wholeness. If you truly want to just kind of like, if you want to move out of the matrix, the thing that one would do is just, have a dog, spend your time in the woods, spend your time at the beach, garden, grow plants, meditate. Those very simple things, which are all free, essentially. Grounding, going swimming in the river, observing flowers, like sitting outside.
Feel connected
all
to your environment.
All of those things, and keeping away from computers and screens, all of those things will bring you to God quicker than any other route. I mean, you could do like Indian practices like breathing and breath work and stuff, but those things are all meditative, and they all bring you. Now nature is more important than ever. That's why they're always doing like keep out of nature, stay inside, watch your computer.
15-minute cities, mate.
Yeah, all that. They know that nature heals everything. They know that there's the sun and being outside is bringing you and grounding you back to source. So they want you in front of the screens. The screens are the most diabolical fucking route away from self-awareness that you could possibly imagine. Fighting with my kids all the time about screen time, and we allow far less than the average parent by a long way. But I know that once you're locked in, and they're so addictive, even for adults. I'm YouTube.
Addicted. I'm a scroller.
Yeah, I love YouTube, but I have to. But I'm 54 as well. I've had a lot of analog years. My brain is wired in an analog.
I always say that about pornography as well.
Yeah, but kids are like so susceptible to having their brain kind of like wired in a certain way where they're not. It's almost as bad as the mRNA vaccines, and you can reverse it by like not watching the screens too much, but you're using different parts of your brain which are not allowing you to connect with your divine self. I mean, ultimately, when it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Even if you're a fucking android, you can't stop, evolution of back to God. But that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're kind of like. This power above government is trying to do, is to keep people away from the reality, which is that you're a supercomputer, super divine, organic computer already. Yeah, we are already a great machine with consciousness, and that's the difference between AI and us. However advanced the AI is, whether it's the Data on Star Trek or IG-88 on Star Wars or the Borg or whatever, then none of them have consciousness. None of them have consciousness. They can't go into the Akashic record. They can't connect with source. AI can't do that. Maybe in some other realm, I don't know. And AI is definitely kind of in control to a certain extent, with like on a high level on planet Earth. There's some AI shit going on, but whether it's man-made or not, I don't know.
Mm.
But AI can't connect like we can connect. That's why we are so important to the ball, to the machine. We are
Mm.
so important to them because we are the route to consciousness. Humans are the route into divine consciousness, to back to source. Artificially made things can't connect to
Yeah.
the Akashic record.
Uh,
They can't connect to the mainframe of reality.
and we all get so amazed that ChatGPT can do this, but we think that our next door neighbour's a dickhead. Our next door neighbour is a bazillion times more divine and special than AI. But we're sort of been programmed. I was just thinking when you were saying that about screens, social media and screens and all that. It's like they're a mirror where you can only see the reflection of the worst aspects of yourself or humanity. It's war,
good point.
fighting. It's just a mirror where you can't see the good. And if you do see the good, like saying like a conversation like this, look at the comments. If the bots come in, if there are bots, and just negative spam it. It's such a race to the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, man. And the thing is, they don't want certain like people that, and I could tell you things which are they're so fantastical, but you're on your own journey, Justin, and the more you go on this journey, the more weird shit you're going to experience. Well, what we would call weird shit, but it's
Yeah.
actually just how it all works. It's once you start to kind of creep out of the hole, and you're like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
you start seeing a multicolored universe of like various aspects of it you've never seen before, could possibly conceive of. But there is lots of very, very strange and crazy things happening on a daily basis. But
Oh.
we're so focused on the football results.
Mm.
I can still remember the football results that used to come in on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 2.
That guy had like the voice of God, wasn't it? It sounded like this big, deep, important thing. My dad would be driving back from the market, and I'd be in the back of the car, and I didn't know who knew. And it's like, this sounds important. It's not important at all, is it? It's a fucking football score.
Imagine, and we've put so much energy, and grown adult men still do that.
They do.
Like, I was with someone and went fucking, and this is a spiritually minded mate of mine, and he went, "Oh, I can't believe Tottenham beat Man City or something like 2-1."
Yeah.
And I was like, and my kids never hear me. They've never heard me say. Now, I'm not trying to be like big-headed or conceited or saying I'm anything special. I still enjoy watching. If you show me a show reel of like
highlight, a bit of athleticism,
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Because that's a human being expressing himself in a high way, isn't it?
But the difference is, I'm not attached to any of it.
Yeah.
I like
Tribal.
basketball. I like basketball a lot. I watch clips of basketball because I appreciate the athleticism and the skill, and I like watching it, and I find the enjoyment out of it. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not thinking about it, not attached to it emotionally.
Yeah.
I'm not attached to Arsenal emotionally.
It's plugging something. It's taking you away from something else, isn't it?
Yeah, because all of that, everything like that is designed to keep us in the matrix, the mainframe. It's designed to keep us away from our divine reality. Once you realize that, you won't get angry about any of it anymore, even the chemtrails. And, and we can affect the chemtrails and the geoengineering. And I've done it with like 200 people online, maybe 30, 40 times, maybe about 30 times we've done the meditation. And it cleared the weather here, like brilliantly, like the next day, so many times. And prior to starting that meditation of the weather, to using a kind of channeling meditation where all of us are using our consciousness together, so it becomes so much more powerful. Prior to doing that, we had months of grey blanket last year.
Yeah, we've had that here.
And it's been, it's not happened in every part of the country. And I'm wondering if there's more people in a certain area doing the meditation, whether it's stronger in those areas. But down here, I can say absolutely that since we started that meditation, we've had a much better weather front.
I'm going to say this, and I'll let you go. I look at the sky in the morning. I know this is old news to you, but that's quite new to me. It's blue. Then there are these white lines across it. Then an hour later, the sky is just white. I cannot see anything. I can't remember the sky ever looking like that when I was a kid. It looks like it's white, like someone's photoshopped the sky and just made it white. Like you can see the roof of the buildings. It's not even like cloud. It's just like you said, blanket. And in the morning,
and do you know how you said that you had the tandem experience?
Yeah.
With the bike, you can have the same experience with the sky. I'm just going to put that into your head.
Yeah, that's a positive way to think. Yeah.
If 10 of you get together and meditate and feel what it's like to have a blue sky, white clouds and sunshine, and then you feel it, and you just for 20 minutes, you will start to see it change. And throughout the ages, and I've read this so many times, gurus and rishis and people, you would call them in the Catholic Church, like saints. They could just maneuver the weather, lick their finger and split a cloud in two, just like that.
I suppose
because they're so connected.
The Native Americans.
You can do that. People can do that.
Well, Native Americans did a rain dance. Like that's a known thing. You wouldn't keep doing it if it didn't ever work, would you? Like imagine if they said, "Oh, it never works, but we just keep doing it for thousands of years." Hopefully, one day it'll work.
When they're doing it, they're not only just doing a dance.
Yeah.
They're imagining and they're smelling. They're remembering the smell of the rain. They're remembering the sound of it hitting the floor.
Yeah, I always took it to mean the dancing aspect is just human beings getting on the same frequency, the same unison vibration.
Yeah, it's that as well. It's clearing.
Yeah, but it's meditating, isn't it? But the way they got into that space was, I think, by moving in a certain way. You know, like that was their kind of.
The Africans do that as well. Africans do it in that way as well. They raise their kundalini by doing dancing and stamping their feet and like wailing and shouting around. They're doing the same as the Indians do with breath work. But it's just raising the kundalini from the base of the spine to the top of the head. It's pulling that energy up. But you can manifest things. You can. I mean, there's the Jose de Silva technique. You know, if anyone's listening that is interested in that, just buy a Jose de Silva technique book and do that. And virtually, you can make any kind of thing happen that you want to happen. But you have to do it properly, and you have to be dedicated and believe in it.
Let's start doing it, man. That's such a great way to end. So you said that you do stuff on Twitter and make videos and put them out. Can you just remind people where they could find you on there?
Yeah, I guess go on X. I'm Galactic Zoo on X. at Tony Morazi.
At Tony Morazi, Galactic Zoo. I can't call it X. I sent a message to someone the other day, and I said, "Oh, he wanted a guest for his podcast." And I said, "Oh, she said to contact her on X." And he said, "Oh," and he said to me, "Is she on social media?" And I looked back and I said, "Oh shit, that looked like I sent him a kiss. I don't really know him." It looked like she said to contact her, kiss. I hate the way it's fucking called X. If it was EX, like as if X Twitter, I'd like, but just it looks like a kiss, man.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, you know, next time we pick a subject that's a bit more streamlined, so we can make some.
I'm sorry. I got this is the first one back. I had lost a camera. Long story, but got another one now. So I'm going to try and keep it consistent. But as always, thank you so much, Dr. Morazi and Galactic Zoo at Tony Morazi on Twitter. Cheers, man. See you soon.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Tony.